Hello, my loves, and welcome to the Pisces season astrology card reading as I bang into the chair from my excitement. Pisces season is my season. I was born February 28th, so I am a Pisces and have just a lot of connection to this energy. And if you haven't seen one of these videos, then I recommend checking out the Aquarius season wrap-up video so that you can kind of get an idea of what we go through here on this channel in Viva Vibrant, which is talking about each astrology season and what is gonna come up and what we can expect and look out for, so that we can continue to utilize the changes and the shifts that come with each season and allow them to really benefit us and change us for the better. And it's it's not a bad thing if we've missed out and if we haven't necessarily been, learning from Aquarius season and then Capricorn season before this moment. But it does help to understand where we've come from, so that what we're working through right now feels very clear and very fresh for us. We get a fresh perspective on the things that we've already been working on. So I recommend going and checking that out, and I'll just link it here real quick. But if you are new to this channel, hi, welcome. My name is Kellyanne, and I am an intuitive card reader, a guide, a mentor, and I love, essentially my core tenets are clarity, compassion, and confidence, because if you are here, then you're a compassionate person, and you probably want to find new ways to be a compassionate person, but be one that has more clarity around how to apply and how and when to apply compassion in the right circumstances, because compassion often turns us into people pleasers. And even if we have been perfectionists, then we might have turned into the family healer, and that's like a whole other story that I'm talking about in a series right now. So if you want to go check out the Family Wounds and Forgiveness series, I talk about being the family healer and that story. But if you've had compassion as like a narrative thread in your life, then you're probably here because you want to find ways to empower yourself through that story. And with more clarity, then we can really be able to confide in ourselves and to take confident steps toward the life that we dream of. And that is what I do in card readings. That is the feeling that I desire to give in card readings. And in this card reading, I'm hoping that we get a little bit more confidence in our trust stories, because that is the story that I'm seeing play out here. The main theme for this Pisces season is going to be reestablishing trust and finding trust stories that no longer serve us, so that we can shed those, release them, let them go. I am going to start with just the Pisces story, which is that it is two fish that are intertwined, that are constantly circling each other. If you have seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, then you have probably seen the day and the night fish, the moon and the sunfish, at the water tribe. And that's kind of what it's like. There's just like this perpetual circling of two fish. And because Pisces is the last sign, so this is the end of the astrological year, really, truly. This is the last sign in the astrological year that we're going to see before the new astrological year starts with Aries. And the Pisces being the last sign means that it carries the weight of everything else, and it carries all of the lessons of everything else, which is also why it's pretty valuable to stick around and stay tuned for these lessons, so that by the time you get to the end of the astrological year, you can sort of get a new picture and a new understanding for what this was all building into. And Pisces season is giving us this revelation of trust, because we've got a card reading here, a spread that has cards that show us the thoughts, actions, behaviors, and beliefs that we can start doing more of, that we need to stop doing because they're not serving us, that we can continue doing. It's kind of like our cheering section. That's what I always say in readings with people is, let's start with your cheering section, and that's what we're going to start with today. And then we've also got obstacle cards that are going to tell us, like, what do we need to unblock right now? Like, what are some of the beliefs that are blocking us from shifting these thoughts and actions and all of these other, little tidbits? So we're going to start with our continue section. We're going to start with our cheering section. Yay! Because these are going to hopefully confirm what has been in the works for you already. And we are starting off with the 8 of Cups, the 6 of Cups, and the Ascension card. Now these cards all come from the Threads of Fate, are the shiny ones, and the Voyager Tarot. I've had people buy the Voyager Tarot after seeing them and after having had readings with them because they're just obsessed. And it's because if you're a visual person or an intuitive person, or if you want to be more intuitive and you want to develop that skill, this is a great deck for that, because there's just a collage of images and you get a little something different every time from them. There are times when I see these and I'm like, I've been working with this deck for years and I'm still seeing something different every time. So I highly recommend them. And the Threads of Fate Oracle deck, they're just gorgeous. They're just gorgeous cards. And I keep them very nicely because they're matte. They have this beautiful texture and feel to them. So I protect these at all costs because they're so nice. So we've got in our continue section the two Cups cards, which makes sense for Pisces season because Pisces, being a fish, our water energy is a water sign, and Cups represents emotions and our emotional energy. And the thing about our emotional energy is not just that it is sometimes sorrowful or stagnant, as these cards say. We've got the sorrow and stagnation card, but they are also places where we can really sort of fix, and the number 6 in this deck for me represents, oh my gosh, and I just realized that we've got the 6 and 8 in another space, which makes total sense. Oh my god. So we've only got 6s and 8s in here, which makes sense for this because 6 is the number of sort of fixing and MacGyvering. It's like you take everything that you have, even if there aren't things that you think that you need to solve the problem that you have, or to change things in the way that you want them to be fixed. You take everything that you actually have and you mix them all together, and it has a weight of serving you. And 8 is the number of creation. It's like, if you tip it sideways, it's the infinity symbol. And there's this creative capacity of spiders who have 8 legs that we can associate with the number 8. And the beautiful thing about the 6 and the 8 coming together is that the story of Pisces season is that we are, like I said, examining what we have, examining the stories that already exist, And we are starting to create new stories. We're starting to shed those stories that aren't serving us, that aren't helping us to deepen our trust, are keeping us from having this beautiful, powerful sense of like shoulders straight and upright core, kind of like, I know how I'm moving forward in the world because I've got these relationships that I can rely on, because I've got the support that I need. Trust is such a powerful thing, and it is embedded in all of our relationships, and it's also embedded in the way that we treat ourselves. If we don't trust ourselves, then we might always be telling ourselves like, you can't do this, or you fucking idiot, you knew you couldn't do this, or you knew that you couldn't do this alone, yada yada. We have this voice in our head that is trying to find out what we can trust about ourselves and what we should trust in others. And because of that voice, there are all of these stories that we have in our heads. And the continue cards are saying essentially that we've already been working on reaching out to people when we are in need of validation and we are in need of emotional support. Because what a lack of trust brings is a feeling of insecurity. If we're feeling stuck in insecurity, then it makes it really hard for us to seek out change and to want to change, because if we don't feel secure, then what we're going to do is we're going to cling to whatever is the most familiar for us. And if the most familiar thing for you is a really negative belief around trust, or a really insecure trust story, a really insecure thing that makes you, and I just realized how puffy my eyes are, and I just wanted to point out that because Pisces season is so emotional, yesterday I spent much of the day crying, and this is a great actual segue into the story of the confirmation of like what we've already been working on, which is having relationships that mirror and reflect back to us what we've been wanting and not giving to ourselves. So if you have already, in times of like emotional distress or in times of insecurity, been reaching out to other people and saying, am I wrong for this? Am I allowed to feel this way? Am I permitted to like tip over and pour out all of these feelings so that I don't have to carry them around? Then you're doing an excellent job, because that's exactly how we come to new conclusions about what trust is for us and what kinds of qualities we need from our relationships so that we can start to develop trust and we can feel secure again. And story time, yesterday I was crying because I haven't done the dishes in a while. Such like a really basic thing. And yet when I was younger, it was a huge deal. It was just a massive deal that would escalate into some really big feelings. I would feel very shut down and feel like I didn't have anybody on my side. Feel like if I were upset, that there was nobody that I could go to and be held. And for something as small as not doing the dishes, I was feeling a lot of guilt. And my partner yesterday just came and held me and let me cry and let me ugly cry through the feelings. And that, I just spoke aloud to him, this is how I've been operating whenever I feel this thing. This was my first, my first instinct was to go into the room and lock myself away and cry in the bed. My next instinct was to rugged individualist it out and pull out my journal and start to write, I feel this way about this thing, and why do I feel this way, and where did it come from? And instead, those are two great things to do, is to allow yourself to feel things and to express your emotions. Yes, absolutely do that. To take some time to do the spiritual journeying of going back in time and saying, where did this come from? And why am I acting this way? Why does this pattern keep showing up in the way that I respond to this emotion? Why am I reacting this way to this thing? It's great to understand where that came from so that you can better know yourself and better understand and see those patterns as they're coming up, instead of in hindsight when you're already reacting and responding. And that way you can develop a new pattern for reacting and responding. And this is what we're doing now. Is I experienced yesterday a new way of reacting and responding, where as soon as I, got in bed and I started crying, I said, oh, I need a journal about this. Let me just not do the woe is me in bed thing. And I got up and I started journaling, and my partner said dinner's ready, and I felt bad again, and I felt more guilty that I hadn't made dinner. And instead of letting that wash over me and going, I'm going to stay in my room and go to bed without dinner, like that childhood story of you need to process this on your own, and you can't come out until you have processed it on your own. That was playing out for me. And instead of doing that, I said, you know what, I'm going to go and I'm going to get dinner and I'm going to feed myself. And after, I just came to him and was like, I need to be smushed. I need to lay in the bed, and I need you to smush me, and I need you to hold me. And once he did, I felt safe to cry. And there was a new way. I found a new way to trust in other people, that they're going to be there for me when I'm experiencing hard emotions that I feel stagnant in, that I feel stuck in, or that I feel like I have a stuck story around it. And I was able to experience it in a totally different way and express myself and allow myself to pour it out and find a new way of doing things, find a new solution, find a new way to fix the problem of feeling alone and lonely when I'm experiencing emotions by myself. This is another part of the Pisces season story. So congratulations if you have already been experiencing and trying to find new ways to express yourself and to unstick from those patterns of toughing it out and doing hard things and experiencing difficult emotions by yourself. Great on you. Continue doing that, because it is absolutely serving you. And here are the start cards. The start cards are letting us know that we might feel, with the Hermit, we might feel alone sometimes, and we might feel lonely when we're alone sometimes. And it's actually good to give ourselves some time to experience our emotions and let them flow through us like the water through the hands. There's also this story of, there are other ways and other types of new storytelling modalities that we can use for how we experience that expression of our emotions. And one of them is through art. One of them is through the creation of art. And one of the things that I'm seeing is the head of potentially Athena right here. Athena, Diana, one of the I believe, goddesses, and that it might be a god, it might be a masculine figure, but what I'm seeing is a woman of war, somebody who has been through some of the hardest things and hardest experiences, and instead of all of this destruction that we believe comes from hard feelings and conflict and confrontation, there is this piece of art that was created to immemorialize this person and immemorialize what they've been through. And I believe that art is supposed to immemorialize some of the things that we've been through so that we can look back and go, holy crap, I was feeling some really big emotions. It's like when you find your diary from when you were, really young, or from when you were a teenager, and you're like, whoa, I was feeling some really strong feelings. Or you find poetry, or you find, I used to draw a lot of self-portraits because I had mirrored closets. So I would sit in front of the closet and I would draw myself while I was crying, because there was some need there for me to honor the expression of that difficult emotion. And the fact that I was alone wasn't always a lonely time. There were times where I did need to cry in bed and pity myself and just like let myself let it out. And there were times when I did need to write or draw or paint or sing about it or dance about it, dance it out. Oh, dancing it out was a big one for me. There were times when I needed that artistic expression to let the emotions flow through me so that I could honor them and so that I could feel them in ways that allows me to really honor and respect what I was going through. Not just the emotion, but the situation that was causing it. And what I'm seeing in the start cards here is that we need to start being more aligned with alone time with our feelings and alone time with expressing those feelings, not being lonely, not necessarily being because you might have the same story that I have of you need to go to your room and you need to do that by yourself. Nobody wants you around when you are like this. Nobody wants to be there for you or with you while you were experiencing these hard emotions and while you're going through this difficult experience. If you share in having had that experience too, then being alone with your emotions might have felt very lonely for you. And I honor and respect that as somebody who, I see you and what you've been through, and what is that story doing for you? Pay attention to the stories that you've held on to when it comes to emotional expression and to trusting other people to hold your emotions. Based on, another one's coming. Based on those experiences and those stories. Take a look at those stories and try and rewrite some of them. Because what you're going to do is you're going to find that not only is the interpersonal love story there a little skewed and a little fucked up, but what you're going to find is that the way that you treat yourself when you are in need of loving support or when you are in need of compassion is discompassionate. and unsupportive. You are going to find that the stories that you are telling yourself when you are in an insecure place, when you are in an untrusting, unsupported place, when you are trying to protect all of those feelings, and when you are trying to protect all of those many sides of yourself. I don't know if y'all can see all of the snakes here, all of the baby snakes here well, but when you are trying to protect all of those many sides of yourself that are still kind of immature in a way, because they never got the role models that they needed, the mentorship, the emotional mentorship that you needed to mature emotionally. If you are still trying to protect them in ways that don't ever expose them to other people, so that other people get the chance and the opportunity to show you a different way, then you will never find a different way. Then you'll never see a different way. And then you will continue to treat yourself like shit. And the story that you've written about how other people are going to treat you based on how you've been treated is going to, really hold you in a cage and keep you from exposing and expressing who you truly are and what you need from other people. And that's how we develop trust, is by exposing our needs to others and telling other people, this is what I need. And seeing that they either say, I have capacity for that, or I love you, I don't have capacity for that, and let's find another way to support you. This is how we develop trust. And if we are not exposing ourselves in that way, then we are not going to be able to practice what new beliefs we want to come about. But it also is going to take some real introspective time to get there. And I'm going to look at our obstacle block cards as well as our stop cards, the things that we need to release and let go of because they're not serving us, so that we can round out this message and get a full picture of things. We've got the reflect card and we've got the death card. A whole ass death card with the shedding of the snake skin and this sort of quiet, stoic figure here. And there is the message here of take time to reflect on those stories. Take time to go within yourself and detach from the emotions. Detach at a time when you are not, immediately in need of support. Maybe try to sit with, what is it that is keeping me from asking other people more often for the help that I need and the support that I need? And how are my relationships currently reflecting back to me the support that I desire? And how can I go deeper to understand the bonds that I have with these stories that maybe in some way feel good for me? I always love to play with, why does this feeling, this bad feeling, or this negative story that I have feel good for me? In what way does it feel good for me? And the answer with insecurity stories or untrusting stories, stories where we just keep ourselves, from really being seen and really being supported, even if other people are there and want to support us. The answer is usually some form of this story that I won't be supported helps me to not be hurt. The usual answer is always, I'm protecting myself from getting hurt. And the block that we're experiencing, that we're going to be coming up against and rubbing up against, and the wall that we get to break through during Pisces season, during the month ahead, from now, February 18th, until March, probably 20th, 21st, is going to be the story of, what am I willing to let go of? What am I willing to see is a problem that I'm causing for myself, and shed and release? Because here are the 8 and 6 again. What we've got to do is learn to trust, so that we can change our ways. And we've got another snake here. We've got all of these baby snakes here. We've got a snake here happening. We've got the snake shedding skin here. I'm like, are there any other snakes that I fucking missed? We've got at least 3 snakes stories in this reading. And that for me is absolutely a sign that we need to change, that we need to let things go, and that we need to really empower ourselves to tune into the trust stories that have not been serving us and that have not been solving our problems. If the problem that you have is that you feel like you can't trust people in relationships, so you treat people as though they are untrustworthy, or you've created the story, maybe an opposite story. Maybe you've been too trusting. Maybe you've been too trusting, and the story you've had is, when I trust people, X always happens, or I always trust people until X happens. Or I can't trust anybody until X happens. And you are waiting for certain conditions to prove to you and to show to you what trust, should be like. You might have some stories that are, what is it called? Self-fulfilling prophecies, where you are prophesying, this is going to happen to me, and this is going to be the trust story that happens. And then it fulfills itself. It happens that way because you are the one who is, and it hurts to hear that you're the one who's causing yourself suffering, but it happens. You are the one who is withholding information from other people, or you are the one who is giving too much information to people who haven't earned your trust, or haven't given you any reason to believe that they are safe and secure and supportive and respectful of all of the ways that you are, of your authentic self and your authentic expression of self. You're just giving it away for free, There are some stories that we need to stop telling ourselves and let go of, so that these new stories can come into play. And the changes that we are going to see in Pisces season are all going to be changes that allow us to experience a greater depth of emotional maturity and a new level of emotional maturity, so long as we break through the wall of the fear of letting go of people that are not safe to express ourselves with and that we do not trust. Don't keep people that you don't trust in your life. It should be a simple thing, and I know that it's not that simple, and I want to impress upon you that this is a big fucking deal, because if we are not ready to let go of people that we don't trust and that we don't feel safe with, let go of people who reinforce perpetually our insecurities, if we're not ready and willing to let them go, then we have no space in our lives to receive new people who can tell us a different story, who have the opportunity to show us a new way to trust and a new way to have relationships that make us feel secure, that make us feel respected, that make us feel seen and under, like this is like one of the biggest Pisces feelings and stories is being seen and understood. And if the feeling of being truly understood by somebody is like the greatest form of ecstasy in a relationship for you, I'm a demisexual, so like for me to feel intimate with people, I need to feel seen and understood. And even if other people don't feel the way that I feel about things, for them to receive me and to say, I can understand how that feel, you know, that might feel that way for you, and you are totally valid in feeling that way, and I see you and I understand you now. And then later down the line, they treat you in ways that help you to continue to feel seen, or they do things for you, acts of service for you, or they show up in quality time, or they get gifts for you that evoke that feeling of having been seen, and they keep proving to you time and time again that I see you and I know you and I understand you and I love you the way you are and I have no desire to change you. That will change everything. That is the feeling that in Pisces season, for Pisceans especially, we are striving for that, because being the last sign of the zodiac, we are the ones who have seen everybody else and who understand everybody else. And because we're last, we often feel like, okay, well, nobody's going to come after to see me. We're just going to start anew again. We're just going to start fresh again. This is the last opportunity for me to be seen and for me to be experienced. And it's kind of hard to do when I have such a grand understanding, a massive understanding of like the spiritual and energetic and, you know, material stories of life and the world and, you know, human existence. Like there's this like existential dread that comes with being a person with a Pisces sign in your chart, especially if it's in your top 3, your sun, your moon, or your rising sign. You might have this existential dread that comes on sometimes of like, will anybody ever really understand me? Because I understand everybody else. I get it. I have so much compassion and empathy for everybody else. Will anybody ever have the same level of empathy for me? That is the feeling that we are seeking and that we are coming to understand in Pisces season, whether you have Pisces in your chart or not. That is the feeling that we are coming to understand and that we are able to, you know, get a sense for during this season. And it feels so good. It is going to feel so good when you let some of these people go. You let these stories go, or you rewrite them so that they let people in, or so that they protect you from people that don't deserve to be invited in. And I lost my train of thought. So let me just move on. We're going to be rewriting our stories and letting people go so that, there we go, so that we can have people that truly make us feel understood, and so that we can get back into the practice of creating a life and creating art, creating different pieces of art or works, or imbuing into the work that we do, even if you're just in a fucking office 9 to 5, even if you're, you know, a career at FedEx, Even if you are just you have this like sort of habitual job that you already do, the imbuing of emotional expression and of like new levels and layers of trust and security into everything that you do can also change everything and can make other people feel seen and understood. And then suddenly the ripple effect that you have is coming back to you 1,000-fold, because you are seeing other people and understanding the way that you've always wanted to be seen and understood, and people start to reciprocate. And suddenly, no matter where you are or what you're doing, there's this feeling of security. There's this feeling of trusting in yourself and knowing who you can give your trust to, and feeling clear and confident about that your compassionate nature is not going to betray you. This is what we are working on in Pisces season. So if this is what you want, then fucking get on it. And just so you know, there is going to be a guided meditation and journaling experience that is going to come after this video. I'm going to start doing this thing after all of the astrology season readings, so that the things that we talk about, you actually get a practice that is going to help you through some of these things. So in the comments, if there's anything in particular that you want to work through, let me know, because I will add it and I will make sure that it is included in the meditation and journaling experience that is going to be available here on YouTube for free, okay? So if you want some free guidance that you have a say in, make sure that you are commenting, make sure that you are subscribing so that you can get these things, that you can follow up on them. And also, if you are feeling like, you know, a lot of these trust issues and the insecurity have come from family wounds, like I said, there is a Family Wounds and Forgiveness series that I've got coming out every Sunday for the next month and a half. And if you want to be a part of that, go ahead and subscribe. Make sure that you do the little notification bell and everything so that you get that ding on Sundays, and you can make sure that you're getting that. They're like 5-minute videos. They're like 5 to 10-minute videos. I think 11 minutes was the maximum for one of the videos. And make sure that you're getting that, because rewriting these feelings, rewriting these stories and these beliefs is not easy. And it's great to have somebody there with you. And if you want to have that meditation and journaling experience where you don't have to like be alone and be writing by yourself and be like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not sure how to do this, I'm not sure how to fix this, then the guided journaling experience that I'm going to be offering will help you a lot. I promise you that, okay? The last thing that we need to stop doing is forgetting that our body is also riddled with these stories. It's not just our brains and our beliefs that have these trust stories and these stories of insecurity. It's also our bodies. Our bodies have tension and kind of jolts of electricity that happen whenever we experience, you know, these repeating patterns, or whenever we want to trust somebody and the stories sort of make us respond. It's kind of like, you know, if we go back to the warrior, the one who's been in a lot of emotional battles, there is a PTSD that comes from that, from confrontation, where you are expecting things to happen in a certain way and your body reacts before you even have a chance to understand what the fuck is going on. So stop leaving your body out of the conversation. You can develop so much more of an intuitive understanding of what is going on or who you can trust with the development of the skill of listening to your intuition. It is a practice. It is something that we have to intentionally do because we've been so trained to intentionally analyze and think with our brains and remove logic or remove emotion from things so that we can approach things logically. But we need the emotional context of everything that we experience to round out the logic that we are computing our lives and our decisions with. We need the intuitive understanding of things that we cannot possibly know before we know them, before we actually have, full evidence for them. There are things that we just know that we need to add to our calculations and that we need to add into our stories that come from the feelings in our body that have always been there, that have always been trustworthy, because there are 2 million neurons worth of neurological activity that happens in our guts, that is our intuition, that makes up this knowing, this cat brain, this 2-year-old brain of, oh, I don't want to be held by that person because I don't trust them and because they are untrustworthy, because they are unsafe. That has always been there, will always be there. And the more that you practice the skill and you also, get into the habit of clearing your gut and making sure that your gut feels good, the more that you practice the skill of listening to your intuition and following your intuition, the more that you're going to strengthen that relationship, and the better all of your relationships are going to be because of it. So be sure that you're doing that thing. And hey, I've got a couple of affirmation cards for you from the Super Attractor deck that we are going to finish off with, in addition to some somatic practices for the Ask Body card, for, to reinforce this understanding of, hey, you need to bring your body along with it. Stop leaving your body out. We're going to have some somatic practices that allow you to rewrite the stories of your nervous system and help you to relax and be in this emotional change, this emotional maturing stage of your life, with a little bit more, a little less stress and tension, and a little bit more openness and open, calm responsiveness to new ways of being and new ways of feeling. So we're going to start with the affirmations, and we're going to go through them quickly because there are quite a few of them. So be sure to, if you want to write them down, or take a screenshot, be sure to pause the video so that you can do that, and I'll hold them up long enough that you can take screenshots. So if you want to do that, go ahead and do that. The first one is, I am kind and loving toward others while creating clear boundaries that protect my good feeling emotions. Imagine that. My ability to receive is measured by how much I practice good feeling thoughts and good feeling feelings, feeling good about whatever I'm feeling, regardless of if it's a difficult emotion and it's sadness and it's anger and it's frustration. Regardless of that, I'm going to have good feeling thoughts toward them, meaning I am going to respect all of my feelings. I am going to give them the honoring that they deserve, and that feels good, even if the actual emotion itself doesn't always feel good, because it stirs up all of these negative stories. Believing in spiritual guidance gives me certainty and the freedom to keep dreaming, even when I can't yet see the result. Continue to follow your body's guidance and continue to go within and have those moments of aloneness, and know that you are not alone in wanting something different for yourself. You have that spiritual guidance, and you don't necessarily need to know what a trusting relationship or what security is going to look or feel like. You will know it when you see it. Okay? Last one, I choose to be a super attractor and have unwavering faith in the universe. I choose to be a super attractor of secure relationships and trust. I trust in my unwavering faith in the universe. Just some alternatives for you, because this is how I'm interpreting it for this particular card reading. And lastly, but not leastly, we've got our Hack Your Nervous System things, which I don't know if y'all can see them all, but I will hold them up very quickly so you can take screenshots if you would like to, and that way you can go ahead and have those for later. And we've got a third one too, but it's a little bit specific, so I'll get to that in a second, okay? So we've got walk and talk. Go out into, and these are not intended to be band-aids for when you're already bleeding. These are intended to be practices, just like your intuition practice, just like your practice of showing up for your emotions in respectful, honoring ways, just like your practice of reaching out when you need help, when you need support, when you are feeling intense emotions and you need somebody else there, just there to hold you. Just like those are all going to be practices and skills that you are working on and skills that you are developing. This needs to be the same thing. This needs to be not something that comes in as triage when you are bleeding out. This needs to be something that you are developing so that whenever you need it, it like you can just naturally start doing these things, and you have them as tools in your tool belt so that you can rely on them whenever you need them. So first one we've got is walk and talk. Go out into nature or hop on a treadmill. Connect with yourself, a neighbor, or a friend as you walk, and let the conversation flow. This can be done in person or over the phone. Walking and talking, when done together, activate both hemispheres of your brain, which supports the flow of insights and makes it easier to process difficult emotions. So if it's not like a can you hug me and squeeze me and can we lay in the bed together, then it might be like a hey, can I talk to you on the phone? Hey, can we hang out and go to the park and just talk because I've got some things that I just want to speak aloud about, that I just want to process out loud because they're just, I need some new insights. I need somebody there to be with me so there's not loneliness while I'm going through this. Alternate nostril breath. Place the pointer and middle fingers of your right hand between your brows. Between your brows. Take a deep, slow inhale through both nostrils. Close the right nostril with your thumb and slowly exhale out the left. Right nostril remains closed as you inhale back through the left. Close your left nostril with your ring finger and exhale through the right. Left nostril remains closed as you inhale through the right. Return to step 2. So basically you're just, and somebody has shown me that it can be this way instead, but I kind of like that, you know, you've got that anchor there and that you're sort of just feeling, because this feels kind of nice too. And I'm a little bit stuffy, as you can tell, but return to step 2, do this a few times and repeat it 5 to 10 times. Allow it to be something that gets you to slow down your breathing, gets you to connect with yourself. And again, there's like a sort of like left brain, right brain, like left side, right side hemispherical thing that's happening there. And maybe that is something that we really need, is to connect with our emotional stories and the way that we've been logicizing about it, that we've been, trying to, make sense of those stories. We need some practices that are going to help us wake up both sides of our brain and both sides of our body so that we can really connect, come together and get to the bottom of it, get to the middle of it, and understand what needs to change. And I love that. I love that we got this. This last one is resilience routine, and it basically says choose 3 cards from this deck that have helped you the most. Put them where you can see them and begin doing these exercises regularly. Practicing coping skills daily rather than just in times of crisis, what did I just say? Creates an internal support system that helps you more masterfully handle stress. And I just wanted to, even though it's like specific to this deck, I wanted to include this one because it came out today. Include this one because you already have some nervous system hacking practices that work for you, that you know that you can practice, and maybe you just haven't been. So if you need to have those reminders, write out, meditate, or nostril breath, or go for a walk, or call a friend. Write those down. Write down all of the things that make you feel better, that you know are proven ways to feel better, to feel more calm, to feel more at ease and at peace within yourself. Write those down either on Post-its or on slips of paper and put them in places where you are going to see them, so that even while you are brushing your teeth in the morning, even while you are in the shower, you are practicing some of those things that allow you to regulate your nervous system and get into a habit and a practice, not just, in times of crisis, into a habit and a practice of remaining calm, so that when you are trying to create the change that you want to see in your life, it doesn't feel quite so chaotic and quite so impossible. You can trust that your body can calmly go where you want to go. And when you are coming from that calm place, then you feel more at ease with reaching out to people and saying, I'm feeling all types of ways, and I need help. Because that's what this season is going to be about, is I need somebody to see me. I need somebody who will see me for who I really am right now in this moment. And I need somebody to treat me as though they understand me and they understand what I'm going through. That's all I need. I love you so much. Like I said, make sure you subscribe so you can get more of these astrology season readings, so that you can stay tuned for the guided meditation and journaling experience that is going to help you specifically with the things that we just talked about. Developing trust and rewriting those stories. If you need help rewriting those stories, that's what I'm going to be focusing on. And make sure that you comment on this video and let me know what it is specifically that you want to work on, that you want to work through, because I can guarantee you that there is going to be a little part intuitively that I get a hit about, but if you are specific, then I will dive deeply, okay? And that's what we want to do. We want to dive deeply so we can get the full expanse of feelings and range of experience, so that we can live the most vibrant lives that is available to us, lives that are available to us, grammar. And so that we can find that sense of clarity, we can have compassion for ourselves, we can move forward and make the next few right decisions for us with confidence. I love you so much. You are deserving of all the love you desire, and I hope you have a beautiful, a wonderful rest of your day. Mwah! Mwah, 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 mwah.